everyone. Okay, sorry about that. I think we have a little bit of a technical issue here. Okay, that's not supposed to happen. And but I think now everything's working in order again. Oh, okay, as you can see, hello from Queensland and so on. All right, wonderful. Thanks so much for bearing with me or with us. Yeah, welcome to the new technology in the new world. But most of all, hello and welcome to our Low Carb Sensations Thermomix workshop today. I'm Jenny Falter. I am one of the local team leaders here in Melbourne Bayside area, and my team and I are very excited because A, you're here today, and B, we were blown away how popular this low carb topic is, and we have over 200 tickets sold for this session today. And yeah, I will introduce you to 8 different consultants from my team who have invited you to their kitchen. And I will introduce you to all of them as we go. So we have also a few consultants working in the background here with me today. So we have Melissa managing the chat and the waiting room. So, and she also keeps an eye on the chat and make sure everyone's muted, so you have a really good experience hearing the things that you're supposed to hear. We're doing this virtually here. That's new for us, so we've learned that in the past couple of months. Nothing we were born with, doing that standing in front of the camera, but we're very excited, and that this way we can stay connected with you during these crazy times we're in. So have a look what we're doing here today, how we're running our businesses here, and have a think about how you like what you see, how you like us, and maybe you think to yourself, hey, this is something I could do. I would love to do that. And pleased to let you know that we will have our branch manager or business development manager, Libby Brackley, coming on later on.
Not yet, we've got to
and she will run an information session for everyone who's interested to learn a little bit more about what we're doing and how you can become a part of this. I had a look at the registrations, so thanks so much for your feedback, and we have only about 1/3 of you owning a TM6 already. So this means the rest of you either doesn't have a Thermomix yet, or you have one of the previous models, the TM31 or the TM5. We will use only the TM6 today, and we will show you how easy it is to access low carb recipes from around the world by using cookidoo. So there will be more of that. Be warned, at the end of today's session, you will most likely want to hear more details about how you can get the TM6 for yourself, and your consultant who has invited you here today will be more than happy to help you further with that. Also, for those of you who don't have a consultant, feel free to reach out for me and I can allocate a consultant to you if you don't have one. All right. Let me introduce you quickly to the price so you don't have to worry or go away finding that out somewhere else. Whilst we're doing this, so the price for the TM6 is 2269, and as always we have different payment options available, and you may probably also want to be interested in learning how you can reduce the price for your Thermomix, and that's when I will refer back to the information session at the end of this, and we'll let you know what's involved. Okay, so now let's talk low carb. Eating low carb is very popular, and I'm pleased to letting you know that Thermomix in Australia will release a new low carb cookbook coming soon. And it will be available as a physical book, but also online on our cookidoo recipe platform. Meanwhile, you can access recipes from cookidoo that are low carb or even keto, coming from the German platform. There's a lot of collections also available in the US and Spain, we found out earlier. But you can also just tweak normal recipes that are on cookidoo, and we will talk more about that, how to replace the ingredient to make them lower carb, so they would fit into your lifestyle way of eating that you are planning on doing more of. So the food we are eating usually contains three main food groups, or macronutrients: the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fat, plus minerals, vitamins, and stuff. So on average, a diet is 50% carbohydrates, 15% protein, and about 35% fat. In a low carb diet, we reduce the carbohydrates to just 20, maybe 30%, increase the protein to 20, and increase the fat to 50 to 60%. Fat, when I'm referring to fat in a low carb diet, is usually healthy fats we're referring to. And then there's an extremer version of low carb available, and that is keto. So we have a couple of recipes that are actually keto, although we will not focus on keto recipes only today, but we will let you know how to tweak them. So keto is very, very, very low in carb. That's only 5% in comparison to the 50% usually. So, and they also increase the protein, but the majority in a keto diet is fat, healthy fats. But when you start with a low carb diet, basically what you want to avoid by all means is carbs coming from grains, wheat, sugar, of course, pasta and rice. You want to introduce a I think I've been unmuted, so now you can hear me again. So we want to introduce a decent amount of fruit and vegetables that are low in carb, and we want to and also have a decent amount in healthy fats. Okay, so now let's get on with the cooking, and our first stop in the kitchen is at Megan's place. Here we go. Hi Megan, we need to unmute you so we can hear you. Perfect.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right, well, welcome to my kitchen. Yes, I'm Meg, and sometimes known as Thermo Meg. Today I'm going to be cooking for you the chunky bolognese. So we won't be having pasta with that, but some vegetable zoodles, you'll be pleased to hear. But I think what we want to focus on at the start is about this chunky bolognese. So I think most people in Australia probably grew up, their first dish they ever cooked is spaghetti bolognese. Would that be right? You can tell me in the chat. So then when people come to Thermomix, one of the first dishes they try is also spaghetti bolognese. And then we see a lot of comments on our social media pages that their bolognese is a little bit fine. And the reason for that is, of course, that the Thermomix blades are moving constantly. So your mince gets ground down to, a very fine sauce. Now that is actually fantastic for lasagna, but you can see the dog in the background there. But for your spaghetti bolognese, people like it a little bit more chunky. So that's what we're going to do today. And we actually cook it in the basket. Got that here. So just as you would start off with your garlic and onion. So I've got a piece of garlic there, some onion chopped in just quarters, and with my measuring cup. And just chop that up for a few seconds. So I've actually got mine on auto. Next, and so just 3 seconds at speed 5.
So Megan, that recipe is actually from it's to be found on cookidoo, and it's from the Skinny Mixes collection. Is that right?
Yes, very popular. So if you're in the Thermomix. A lot of people love the Skinny Mixes recipes, and we're very lucky we have a little book from Skinny Mixes in the cookidoo. So scrape down the sides there, and we need some olive oil to get that cooking. So just need the scales, about 20 grams. It's about a tablespoon anyway, but it's up to you.
Because for those of you, for those of our customers who haven't seen the TM6 in action yet, so what you see now on your screen, that is actually the recipe, right? So it comes up there directly on your screen, and all you do is click on next.
Yes, it's very easy. And I'm putting that on to cook, and I've actually left off the measuring cup here. So we want a bit of evaporation to happen. We don't want to have too much moisture building up inside the bowl. So we leave off the measuring cup. That lets a bit of the moisture out, and your onions and garlic will start to cook. So we'll be back in a little bit to see what's happening.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Megan. Then we come back into your kitchen in a little moment. For now, we're going to switch over to Hyatt, and I want to introduce you to Katja. Katja, hello.
Hello, greetings from my kitchen here in Hyatt.
Yes.
I'm actually going to show you one of the recipes on the German cookidoo. You still don't see the machine yet because I'm actually in front. What you need is the app, which is called Google Translate, which you can download on your device. Doesn't matter what device you have. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to turn around my iPad, and I'm showing you what I mean. 1 second.
No worries. Yeah, so Katja, as you can probably hear, Katja and I share the same country of origin, so we both have a German accent, and we found this recipe on the German cookidoo, and it's called, in German it's called zucchini omelette or something like that.
Yeah, zucchini herb omelette actually.
Okay, but we found it, so first of all, it's a low carb recipe, but what we wanted to show you here is when you access international recipes from cookidoo, and even they come up in the original language on your Thermomix screen, that's the screen that you currently can't read, but with the help of Google Translate.
Yeah, but you need to see it here. Can you actually see it, Jenny?
A little bit,
trying to,
little bit down.
1 second. Further like that, and then
the phone down a bit.
Like this.
Yeah, there you go. So now we can read.
Can you read it? Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it say?
30 grams of bread stale in pieces.
Yeah, I'm just going to go next to see.
Yeah, and then it says put in 60 grams of parmesan in pieces. All right. So we can still see in the background the original language here in German, but on hovering the phone in front of the screen will help you, because you can still access the guidance from the machine. So it will still put in the time, temperature, speed, or it bring up the scales when necessary. All you need to do is translate the ingredients for the time being. All right, you don't need to have a second device standing next to it to put in the recipe manually. So that way, this opens up a whole new world for you to access cookidoo recipes from different countries, and that's why we wanted to show you this particular recipe today. All right.
Okay.
Yes, we've got a question here in the chat, and yes, great, people love it, and yes, it also works for TM5. Absolutely, it does. All right, so with the TM5, obviously you can access recipes from cookidoo as well. So you maintain or you manage the recipes so Katja, do you want to turn around your machine for the time?
Yeah, I do that now.
Okay. So you can actually manage your recipes on an app or on your laptop, but then you can you need to synchronize them first to the cook key to be able to access them on your screen. The name of the recipe, we will share that. So Melissa will shortly share the link with you. just bear with us. The original name is obviously in German.
Okay.
Okay, so should we go on with you, or should we quickly check in with Megan how far she is? That's
Yes.
over
Yep,
to Megan.
that's fine.
Am I on? Okay, can you hear me now? Yep, all good. Okay, so we've got a few seconds to go, but I'll just tell you what I'm doing next. So we're going to make the sauce. So just the simple sauce without the actual meat. So it's just a bottle of passata. It's actually 700 grams, which is what these kind of bottles are. We've got some mixed herbs. So there's basil, oregano. There's actually a half a teaspoon of chili, but that's optional. But I tried it out the other day and it was very nice. And there's a little touch of cinnamon, which I've never tried before, but that's actually very tasty. And there's also Worcestershire sauce, another one I've never put in mine, but I tried it out. It's really tasty. Here, I've got some of my chicken stock. It says use meat stock. So when it's talking about that, it's talking about your homemade Thermomix stock. So you could use a vegetable, chicken, or a meat-based stock that you've made. If you don't want to do that, you can actually just put in a bought stock, but it's the liquid amount, not a litre of that paste, because that would be very strong.
Yeah, no, that's a good point there.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Worcestershire sauce that I can't really pronounce correctly, however, just letting you know that is a Skinny Mixes recipe also to make your own. And with these shop-bought sauces, you just need to be careful to keep them low carb, or even if you want to go keto, consider making them yourself, because very often these pre-made sauces are loaded with sugar. And that in this way of eating, that should be avoided.
Yes, that is very, very true. Okay, so for this, it's just pour them all in. Those I've prepared. Get that in there. Oh, that's pretty chunky, that one. I've got a little tip for you. I'll show you what I do with that. Anyway, so that's there, and I don't want to waste that. So you need 30 mils of water. I've actually already pre-weighed that before, but you can just pop that in there, give it a little shake, and then you won't be wasting your sauce. And I've got another tip that's coming up. Okay, so put your stock paste in. It was a tablespoon, so keep that to your taste. If you'd like a little bit more, you can do that. Your herbs and spices there. The Worcestershire sauce, yes, which is hard to say, Janie, don't worry.
It's all right.
And tomato paste there. So put those in. Now my other little tip is, so if you can't get it all out, you've got your lid, put your lid on, and then pour out the watery stuff I had, and just pop it in there for a bit. Ta-da! Okay,
that's good.
Yeah, so don't turn it on and walk away, but it can sit there for a little bit by itself and the sauce will come out. And now we are actually going to start, no, I've got one more thing to do. Okay, so where's the meat? You're saying, what's happening to the meat? So we're putting it into the basket. So the reason we're doing that is to keep it chunky. So it's not going to be stirred with the blades. So I've put it into the basket like this at 700 grams, and you want to chop it up a bit. So get your spatula, move it around. Don't put it in, straight from, say, if you bought it in from the supermarket. And so it's a little bit chunky in there, and pop it into your Thermomix on top of the sauce. Then lid on, measuring cup is on this time, and we're going to cook that for 15 minutes at on Varoma temperature at speed 2. So it's just a nice gentle stir, and then we will actually come back and chop it up a little bit more and continue cooking. Sometimes people wonder, what is this Varoma temperature? If you're a new cook for Thermomix, it's actually what we normally would use the steamer with. So our steamer on the top is called a Varoma, so it is the Varoma temperature. So where do you find it? It's on the dial at the last temperature stop. So I'll put that in and start cooking mine for 15 minutes while I'm getting there. This is also a great recipe for kids to use. Oh, actually, sorry. No, I've done that. Because it's easy, it's really an easy one to follow. So definitely kids, you know, teenage kids could have a go at this, and then there's a dinner that they can be making in the week. For them, you know, I'd probably still want to be serving them the carbohydrate, the pasta, but what I show you later, you can actually mix a bit together. So they're getting more veg, but they're also getting their pasta that they probably do need. Right, okay, 15 minutes on aroma temperature, speed 2. I'm ready.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Now, this is also a really great recipe to hide vegetables in case you have to in any bolognese sauce, and just rich it up.
About that, so if you wanted to do that, I normally do actually put in quite a lot of hidden veg in spaghetti bolognese. So if you wanted to do that, you could put in a zucchini, celery, a carrot, and they could actually be in the sauce at the base. So you put them in with the onion and garlic, and they get them chopped up, and they will cook in the sauce as well. Don't overload it because you don't want it to be too full, but you could easily have a carrot, a zucchini, and a slice or two, stick or two of celery in there as well.
Yeah, fantastic. We had a quick question on the chat if that recipe is also available for the TM5. So just let you know, the TM5 and the TM6 do have exactly the same volume of the bowl. So yes, definitely, it can be made in the TM5. If you are unsure whether that recipe is possible to do in your TM31, because that has a lower volume, then please go and check it on cookidoo, because it will always tell you which recipe is suitable for which machine. With the TM6, right, obviously you can make them all.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. Thanks, Meg. We'll come back
a bit later.
Yeah, and we're going back to Katja's kitchen. Once more to Hyatt, around the corner from me. And we have also, we've got more people from Hyatt joining.
Hello, everyone. Back here, all set up. So actually, I'm going to start now. We're going to use the Faroma tray. And we're actually using those sheets, which fit perfectly here in this tray, which you also can purchase on our mix shop, by the way.
They are great.
Yeah, I love them because it's so easy, you know.
Yeah, so obviously for the omelette or for slice you're doing right now, we want to avoid the eggs to go through, but I find they help a lot with the cleaning afterwards.
I know, you just take it off and then it's clean. I mean, it's not, you still have to wash it, but it's not greasy and you don't have to scrape anything off. It's perfect.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay, so then what we're gonna use is some old bread. So actually this recipe has about 5 grams of carbohydrates per portion. So if you don't like bread, you could substitute it with almond meal, for example. I just have some old sourdough. I'm gonna use about 30 grams.
Yeah, it's a great tip. So it's very low in carb, even there is a little bit of bread in it. But if you want to make it keto, just leave the bread out altogether.
Yeah, exactly. You could do that as well. Then we have some Parmesan. You can use grano padano. Doesn't matter, whatever you find in the store. Then this recipe especially says majoram. Well, I couldn't find it anywhere. And I couldn't find a dried one, so I'm going to use parsley, which works fine too.
Okay, you can substitute with whatever you have and what you like.
So this now another 15 seconds, it's gonna blend everything.
So we cannot really hear the full power of the Thermomix here, but grating cheese is one of my favorite things to do in a Thermomix, because it doesn't get off the skin or my fingernails stay intact. So I really love that.
Actually, I wanted to show you what 15 seconds do with your Parmesan cheese.
Wow.
It does, yeah. Nice and green. So then we actually, because it is an omelette, we are adding 8 eggs. Then I'm adding salt. I actually made just earlier my own herb salt, which you can make with just salt and dry herbs. It really makes a difference to make your own salt, herb salt or seasoned salt.
Yeah, there's some great seasoned salts available on cookidoo. I know from the what's it called, the festive flavor book that we have. Also great to make little gifts. Really good. But the herb salt is also available online.
Yeah, actually, I did that for my customers. If you can see, homemade herb salt. Thank you, and then I put my name.
Aww,
Can you see
so good.
Yeah, you can even use if you don't want to have such a big glass, you can use smaller ones. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. I actually have this recipe from the German cookidoo as well. So this is another 15 seconds. Just gonna mix the eggs and the rest of the mixture.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all gonna do it for you.
That's great. So yeah, so for those of you who haven't seen the TM6 yet, and how did you like that big screen? Tell me in the chat box.
Now we're just gonna add some zucchini. And here it also says you can add some chives. My family doesn't really like it, so I'm just leaving it out. So you can, substitute or just leave it out.
Yeah, you could have spring onions instead.
Yeah. So another 10 seconds, just mixing everything.
Yeah, spring onions are actually better in a low carb diet than normal onions. So for our keto friends, be gentle on the onions intake or garlic because they're actually pretty high in carbs.
So yeah, this is now ready here, the mixture. You can see. So now we're putting it on our Varoma sheet, and then we're putting it on, and that's it. So it's really quick and easy, a meal during the week as a side dish.
Okay, great. So you're actually steaming the zucchini slice in the Varoma.
Yes, exactly. I'm just gonna, this would be the next step, to add some water to get the steam going.
The steam going, yeah. So we also had, when we did a little survey before we decided on running this class here, and Varoma was also one of the very much wanted classes. So it looks like a lot of people are not really using their Varoma or not quite confident because no one ever showed them how to use it. But that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, so now I just added the water and I put my Varoma on top of the Fermi, and now it's about 25 minutes on Varoma, like 120 degrees, and on speed 1, and I see you again in 25 minutes.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Katja. And we will now head over to Elizabeth's kitchen, who is, she'll tell us where she is. There she is.
You unmuted me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody, and welcome. And you're in Blairgowrie right now. And the morning started off sunny, unprecedented. No, we've had sun the whole week. It's been beautiful. Lots of doggy walks. Anyway, today I'm presenting for you, it's called a keto shortbread. It's an American recipe, so it's going to be in ounces and Fahrenheit and all sorts of interesting things, but it doesn't matter because my Thermomix is going to give it to weigh it in that way anyway. So I think we might start. So the first thing, I've called the recipe up, so I'm ready to go. Preheat oven to 350, that's 175 centigrade. I got that all sorted well before we started. Next, line 2 baking trays. You don't want to see that, it's already done. 6 ounces of almond flour. So, can you see that all right?
Yeah, we can see that.
That's actually almond meal. So we're just going to pop that in. And just a little side about that. To make the almond meal like this, I blanched the almonds. I was able to heat the almonds in the Thermomix to soften the skins. And then the skins you can use to make bliss balls later on. So I find I do a lot with almonds because actually I'm a keto fan. I lost 10 kilos on keto in about 6 months. The last lockdown didn't do me many favours, so I've got to now lose a couple more. But they're the raw almonds, and I've actually made these biscuits using this. So they're a little bit brown, they're not white. I'll show you at the end how that goes. So we've got our almond flour in. Next. This is Natvia, which is a sugar. Now, Janie, do you want to talk about Natvia because you really know more about it than I do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love the whole selection you have put up there for us to see. So for those of you who don't know, I'm personally off sugar for the last 8 years, and I have a preferred sweetener that is the Natvia. And the Natvia is a mixture of stevia and erythritol. Poor stevia, I find it a little bit too strange with the aftertaste, a little bit salty at times. And I couldn't find that happening with the Natvia. So you can have a look at, so I get them at Woolies, you can order them also online. And I also have these beautiful sauces there, just in case you have a little bit of sugar.
What do you do with this salty caramel? Dunk the biscuits in it when you're eating it.
Yeah, so they are great alternatives to sweetener. I just really want to say, if the recipe asked for almond meal, you could also in this step just weigh in the raw almonds and just mill them as you go. Add in an extra step there that you can override a guided recipe at any time, and then just continue with the recipe as seen on screen.
Awesome. So to continue, pinch of salt. That's my style of cooking. We've seen this before. And insert the measuring cup. And it's speed 5.
All right. I've just seen. All right, so we can hear the power of your Thermomix right then and there. That's great. So these ones are the keto shortbread cookies. We have a question on the chat box to suggest a nut-free alternative. So obviously it's very often we bake in low carb eating and keto eating, replacing grains with nuts. If you can't have the nuts, if you can have seeds, then try seeds as an alternative there.
What about coconut flour? Would that work, do you think?
Not necessarily one-on-one, because coconut flour needs more moisture, so you need to adjust the other ingredients in that recipe to make it work. But there's a little bit of try and error, I'd say, to find out, to adjust the ingredients to make them work for your way.
Okay, now I've just popped in the unsalted butter and it's going next. And now we're doing speed 4 for 10 seconds. Such a difficult recipe. I work so hard. I love the quick and the easy.
Yeah, we've chosen you today for the really tough one. But you know, even when you go in low carb, you really want to have some sugar fix at some time, or you know, just something sweet.
Okay, so let's say a large egg. Well, that's a bit, more. An egg. In it went. And some vanilla extract. And again, it says teaspoon. I reckon it's about right. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, insert measuring cup lid and off we go. We're going to mix that up. And now it's speed 4 for 5 seconds.
So we have a question because you were saying 4 ounces, and the beauty is the machine weighs in ounces, so there's no need actually to translate it into grams first. You can weigh in and just use the scale as they're measuring that same amount in ounces. It doesn't really matter if it's grams or ounces. You just weigh in until it has reached the correct limit, the correct weight. Does it make sense?
Okay. This is my mixture.
Nice.
Now, the recipe says make it into little balls and then pop it in the fridge for, I think, 15 minutes or 2 minutes, okay? I found that it is very buttery, yum, but buttery. So I actually just put my bowl in the fridge for 20 minutes and then I made the balls. And because this is going to be a bit tedious to see you do it, I've done a mixture this morning and that's how I have the balls. Just to let you see another small little trick that I do.
Sorry, we couldn't hear that. Can you repeat?
I'm sorry. Which bit? I've made some balls in advance. I've put the mixture in the bowl in the fridge for 20 minutes because it is very buttery and it is very soft. The other thing is I use this to form my balls, which means I'm pretty much consistently getting the same size, which is very, very convenient.
That's a great tip there with the ice cream scoop.
The other thing is that if you wanted to make it into a chocolate shortbread cookie, you just add in some cocoa. So pretty much, I'm going to pop this in the oven now. And when you come back to me, I think I might be having a nice cafe latte with some shortbread keto biscuits.
Ah, that's really kind of you that you invited me right here. Oh, damn it, we're in Melbourne, we can't go anywhere. Okay, great. Well, you might inspire me or others to make our own batch once we have finished this session today. Thanks so much, Elizabeth.
See you at the end when I see the finished product.
We're coming back later to you. All right, now we're transitioning over back to Sandringham into Sandy's kitchen. And Sandy is showing us basically it's a zero carb recipe, right?
Hi, how are we? So welcome to my kitchen in Sandringham. I'm like Elizabeth. I think I've got nearly one of the easiest recipes to actually do today. So we are doing the salmon today, actually. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to cook the salmon in the Veroma. And today I'm actually going to be using this little tool. I don't know if anyone knows what this is. So this is a smart connected thermometer. So it is wireless. And what happens is it's pretty much it's very similar to your TM6. So it's like your TM6 uses guided cooking. Your wireless thermometer also is very smart, actually. It's a smart tool. This actually sends details to a tablet or a phone or wherever you are. It works within a 50-meter Wi-Fi range, and it actually determines different things. So it's got things like your internal temperature of whether it's your fish or whether it's your meat that you're. It also does your ambient temperature, which is inside the protein that you're actually going to be cooking. And then it also does your target temperature. So you actually determine on your tablet or phone how you want your protein to cook. So do you like it rare, medium rare, well done, however you want to do it. So you actually choose what protein it is that you're cooking. And I'll show you how to do that. And it will actually then beep at me 5 minutes before it's ready to say, hey, come back, I've got 5 minutes left. And then it will say, take it out of the oven or wherever. So you can actually use these in the barbecue. You can use them in the oven. We're using them in the Veroma. Just a heads up, Father's Day is coming up. This is a great tool for Father's Day. But I, like my whole family, uses it. It's got a little magnet on the back. So I can just keep it on the side of the fridge so I always know where it is. And it's a host reward just for this month. So if you would like to possibly earn one of these, I think it's $49 if somebody purchases a Thermomix, or $99 without. If you buy them in the mix shop, they are in the mix shop all the time, and I think they're not. Are they 200, Jenny?
100, yeah, 199 they are. That's right. But I call them Meat Plus, and a smart. So you can basically turn your barbecue also into a smart connected kitchen by using a meter there. All right, let's see it.
So let's get to work with it. So what we've got, let me just take the top of my Veroma off. So at the moment, I've just got some vegetables ready to go. So I'm just going to cook some asparagus and some beans with the salmon later. So I'll leave those aside for now. I'll put those in about 6 or 7 minutes before the salmon's actually ready to cook. So what I have at the moment though, I have just wet some baking paper. So all I've done is scrunch the baking paper up, wet it and just squeezed it out. So it's just got a little bit of moisture in for the salmon. So I'm sitting that in the salmon in the actual varoma, and then we'll start dressing that up. So I'm going to bring up the recipe on my Thermi. So I've scheduled that in cookidoo for in my week. So it's bringing it up and it's under cook today. So it's the simple steamed salmon that we're going to do today. So I can just say start cooking. And what it's asking me for is just to put the salmon fillets onto a piece of wet, well-wrung baking paper. So as I said, it just keeps a little bit of moisture in there in the varoma as well for you. And it stops everything sticking and it's very good. Okay, so it's just asked to sprinkle the salmon with salt and pepper. So I'm just going to do that quickly. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. Okay, and we're just going to go next. And it's asking us to place 2 cloves of garlic cut into halves. And it's also asking for fresh rosemary and thyme. So I'm just going to place a little piece of rosemary on each one. And I'm going to put some thyme that I also have just sprinkled over the salmon. And next, I'm going to put my garlic, just sit my garlic on top of the salmon, which I'll show you in a second. And what it's asking for is to tightly wrap the salmon in the baking paper and place into a varoma dish. So that's what I've already started doing. So I've obviously got the salmon ready, got the rosemary, it's got the garlic, it's got the thyme. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to get the meter going. So,
yeah, so quickly, we have one question in the chat. If you can put more beans in there or more vegetables, or do you have to stick with the recipe?
No, I've just thrown whatever vegetables you feel like. So snow peas would be amazing. Whatever vegetables you actually feel like. There's plenty of room in the varoma, so I could actually put some vegetables down in with the salmon. I'm just putting them up the top because I'm not using the top of the varoma, of the tray. But it's certainly there and ready for you to use.
Yeah,
whatever veggies.
And whilst you're showing this, so that's the question: if you can substitute the salmon with the chicken. Oh, of course we can.
Of course you can. Yeah.
Steam a whole chicken using the meter. And now show us how this works.
So this is the actual meter. So I've just taken it out of its little box. So it actually charges in the box, which is handy. So when it's on the side of the fridge or the barbecue, it's already there for you. This is the actual meter. And it's got a little line on there. So basically what you want to do is you want to try and put the meter into the thickest part of the meat. And as long as that safety little line is covered, then it's going to recognize that meter. So I'm just going to, I'll put it into the thickest part of the salmon and then I'll show you. So it's literally, it goes straight in. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Maybe not. So I have the salmon just in the thickest part of my salmon right now. So you can see it's sticking up here. And it's just sticking out. So that's going to eventually start working. So you can see it recognises on the tablet already for me that it's ready for me to set up the cook time. So I'm going to set up my cook time. You can see here it's got beef, pork, poultry, lamb, fish or other. So I'm choosing fish today. And you've got lots of different fish you can choose from, but I'm choosing salmon. And I'm going to say I'm doing a fillet. And you can choose, do you want medium, medium well, medium, well done? I'm going to choose medium only today just because obviously by the time we cook it and it rests, it's going to keep cooking once we take it out. So I'll choose medium and then we say start cook. So it wants you to insert the probe, which we've already done, and we can say start cooking. And so this actually is smart enough to say, hey, your volume's down quite low. Do you want to turn up your tablet so that when it's ready, I'll let you know that it's all good. So it's going to start estimating once I put this salmon on top. So I'm just going to close up my salmon. Firstly, I'm going to put some water in here. That might help. So we're going to put a litre of water into my bowl. So obviously we've got our scales on here, so it's going to tell me.
Well, how good is that we have our little helper there, that we all we need to do is just follow the instructions from the screen.
Okay, and what we're going to do is just going to put the lid back onto the thermi. I'm going to stick my varoma on top, and I'm going to grab my lid. Okay, so that's all on there, and we're going to say next. Secure the varoma lid, so it's always going to tell you what to do, which is great for kids. And it's now just saying, so it's actually setting the salmon for 20 minutes on varoma, and it's asking me to turn the speed dial to speed 2. So I'm going to turn it to speed 2, and what you'll see eventually is on the iPad, it's estimating the cook time, and it will start catching up with the Thermomix, and it will determine how long that salmon should actually take, and it will tell me when to take it out. But generally they're pretty much on par with each other with the time, if the Thermomix is ready to say it's done as well. So it will all be ready to go. So I can show you further down the track when the tablet.
Yeah, when we're coming back to
telling us.
Thanks
Sounds
so
good.
much, Sandy. Yeah, we have a couple of questions. So I think what we've done, we've confused a couple of people. So obviously for this recipe, you don't need to use the meter. The Thermomix recipe does tell you the step-by-step recipe, obviously, and also the time and all that. But then it's just when you have different sizes or different weights. So always when you buy a piece of fish, then sometimes, you know, it's bigger and sometimes it's smaller. Or if you're just using the small fillets, you can adjust the cooking time here. So for this recipe, obviously, if you have the exact amount of fish in there, then you don't need a meter. We've just wanted to show you what's possible, all right? So following a different recipe, so you can steam a whole chicken in the varoma, for example. You can leave the probe of the meter in there to pop it in the oven and crisp it up, the chicken, of course, not the not the fish, but also use the meter completely without your Thermomix, all right? So use it with the steak on the barbecue. So just so you know, we have that for the month of July on as a host reward. So talk to your consultant if you're interested in reducing the price for your meter. Then they will let you know what to do and how we can get one in your kitchen very soon. Thanks so much, Sandy. We are heading over to Megan back again and see how far the bolognese is. Yeah, we can hear you.
Am I on? Good. Okay. Yeah, so the bolognese has done its 15 minutes and we need to give it a bit of a chop. So I'm showing you that, but I'll bring it up to the camera. But you want to get your spatula, do some chopping motions to break it up a little bit. And mine's been sitting there for a few minutes now. And it looks a little pale. You might be going, whoa, I'm not sure about this, but it does work out. So let me show you. So I'm just breaking it up a bit in the Thermomix, and then it actually looks pretty cooked to me, but it's got a little bit pink in the middle, so we do it a bit longer. It actually says 15 minutes more, and just the same, put your lid on, Thermomix goes on for another 15 minutes. That varoma temperature. On at speed 2. Oops, 2. Okay, so what I also wanted to show you is now how we're going to do these noodles. Hang on, got something on my screen.
Oh, all good. Doodles.
Oh, No, it's got a thing, it's covering me up. I can't see myself.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, here are some zoodles that I have prepared. But these are zucchini noodles. So a lot of people have a spiralizer now, but they're really good for a low carb diet. And I actually think this tastes fantastic. I love it. So what you can do with that, some people talk about steaming it. Personally, I find it's actually just fine to put a hot sauce on there and it mixes in. It's very tasty. However, another idea is you use your thermo server. So this is our double insulated bowl. You put some boiling water into that just to heat it up. Just let that warm up a little bit. Then tip out the water and put your noodles into the bowl. It will just have a nice, just warming effect on your noodles. So tip it out. So that, pop them into there. So they can just sit there warming. Now, this is my one I just want to show you. Mine's called a Betty Bossy, but there's all kinds. Don't feel you have to get this one, but just to show you how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my
I love
zucchini in there.
This plate, it looks beautiful. With the olives.
Yeah. Had these for years, these plates. So here comes the noodles coming out. And I normally just break them off a bit because they tend to get a little bit long when you're actually eating them.
Yeah.
Do you find that? Now, I know that Janny, I know she's got a different model type of thing where she comes out with a stalk down the middle. But for both of them, don't feel that you will waste it. So I've got a little bit is left at the end. So mine comes out with little bits and Janny's comes out with the stalk. Don't feel that you're wasting that. Put those into a Snap-Lock bag or some Tupperware and put it in the freezer. And then you can use that for your own stock next time you're making stock. So just add in veggies that you don't need all of, or you've got the ends, and that's ready for your stock for next time.
Oh, that's a great tip. Thanks so much. Fantastic. All right. So we'll come back later to you again to see the end result.
Yep.
And just finished the cooking there. I love that little tip with cooking the zoodles just in the thermal server. For those of you who want to make this dish and have half of them, for example, making with real pasta, then you can also cook your pasta in the thermal server, by the way. So use the thermal servers to make your pasta or your zoodles whilst the sauce is cooking in the Thermomix, so then you don't waste any time and can eat or serve them both up straight away. All right, thank you. So now we're heading over in a new kitchen, and this time we are, we're again in Brighton with Kim.
Hi everyone, how are you?
So Kim,
thank you, Jenny.
Kim has just celebrated her 11th year with Thermomix, and I'm beyond proud and stoked that she's in my team. So over to you, Kim.
Thank you. Yes, 11 years. How time flies when you're having fun. Someone had have told me 11 years ago that I would be with Thermomix in 11 years' time doing cooking experiences via the internet. I don't think I could have comprehended that, but here we are, and it's good to see that there's so many people joining in with us. So it makes it great. We have fun and you guys have fun as well. Today I am making some keto biscuits, keto cheese biscuits, and they're absolutely delicious. Just to warn those who can't have nuts though, they are made with almonds, and I don't know really an alternative other than what Jenny said before with the seeds. But anyway, these are on the American cookidoo site. So hopefully those who are using cookidoo, you do know how to access it. So I'll just quickly give you a little run through just in case. So we swipe across to cookidoo, go into search.
How cool is that we have cookidoo already built into the machine? So no extra step going via an app or synchronization necessary.
Exactly. Again, 11 years ago, I would not have believed that you could do this, but how far we have come with technology. So cookidoo obviously takes me straight into the Australian cookidoo, but I will go into filters and scroll down to the US. So I'll take Australia off and go down a bit further. There's a lot of countries with Thermomix now.
And U is really further down in the alphabet.
That's right, it's right down the bottom. So we've got over 4,000 recipes, so we don't want all those. So what's the name of my recipe again, Jenny?
That should be cheddar cookies, something like that.
That's right. So we'll search keto. And here we have keto cheddar biscuits. So there is quite a few collections on cookidoo designed solely for keto. So if you're following that way of eating, then we have accommodated it for you. So touch on that one and it brings up my recipe, start cooking, and everything's in US, so Fahrenheit and ounces, but that's okay because I know 350 Fahrenheit is around 180, so the oven is on. And then we'll go through to the next step. I've got to put baking sheet onto my tray, but I don't use baking paper because Thermomix have brought out these wonderful silicone mats. So you can put that on straight away, just wash it afterwards and cut down on the paper. Then next, 4 ounces of cheddar cheese. So the first time you do a US recipe, it's always quite interesting because you think, how much is 4 ounces? I have no idea. But after doing a few US recipes, you do get a bit of a grip on it. And it's quite good for the kids as well to learn the difference in weights. So the scales automatically come up in ounces, so I don't have to worry about changing them. 2 ounces. I just keep cutting cheese and weighing it in until it comes to 4 ounces. So obviously I've already done that. And someone's stolen a piece of cheese. It was 4, now it's 3.9. Anyway, never mind. Lid on. And just going to grate the cheese.
There we go. Power of the Thermomix again. Love that. We do have had a question on the chat. We just had a question on the chat. How do we access or how do we go to the US platform? But it's not actually going on a different platform. We just take out a filter for Australia, and this way every recipe from around the world is available. But you can also choose recipes via language. When you take out the filter, you can say, just show me all English spoken recipes. If you want to have a little more slow-paced information about the cookidoo, I have made a YouTube tutorial and show that very slow-paced in how to do all of that. And Melissa is happy to share the link to the YouTube.
Great, thanks, Jenny.
No.
So the next step, I've grated the cheese. Don't you love the Thermomix for grating cheese? No more buying packets of grated cheese anymore. We move on to the almonds. We're going to make this into almond meal, which is fabulous to be able to make our own almond meal. 12 ounces. We'll weigh that in. And that's all my almonds. And then we will go on to the speed, which is up to speed 10. Lucky for you, Zoom cuts out the sound. Not for me.
There she goes and runs. Yeah, that's obviously what we're hearing here, well, Zoom is cancelling that down for us to make it a beautiful and pleasant experience. But that's actually the sound of saving money.
All right, and look at this almond meal. Isn't it fantastic? All the other flours you can make yourself as well, like make it with flour, quinoa. What else have we got? Buckwheat, sunflower seeds.
Yeah, the seeds, and with the nuts you can just keep going and turn them into nut butter.
Okay, now we put our butter in. 4 ounces of butter. So that's it. And the US recipe asks for grass-fed butter. So I did go out to Gippsland and got some grass-fed butter. Get the right one. And if you believe that. All right, and so this one, we're just going to melt it at 185 degrees Fahrenheit. So that takes 4 minutes. So I don't know if you want to go to someone else's kitchen while that's melting.
Yes, we can do that. But just quickly, the grass-fed butter, that's the purpose, because first of all, it's a keto recipe. So
yes.
Obviously in the keto, but we also don't want, we don't want to eat the grains. All right. So also we don't want the meat or the milk that's coming from to eat grains. So that's the reason behind that. So it's a whole different angle to look at things. That's why grass-fed is better. It's definitely the better quality. That's why, yeah. But thanks for pointing that out. It's really interesting. Okay, so basically the next step is so you're just finishing the dough, so to speak, and you put them on the baking tray. So we're going to go now to Tracy's kitchen, and we come quickly back, but we just make sure that they go in time in the oven so they are ready at the end. All right, so we may come back or may not. Just keep going from your end. Okay, and here we have Tracy. And hello, Tracy. Tracy is celebrating her debut today.
Oh, you
Oh, is that in your kitchen?
That's not my kitchen. There's no one here but me.
That's all right. Melissa will fix that in a second. Yeah, so round of applause. Thanks so much for being brave and doing this together with us today. So this is the new way of us doing cooking demonstrations. And whereabouts are you?
I'm in Flowerdale. So I've been out this weekend. So what I did was I looked up the ingredients on cookidoo on my phone when I was out, and I knew that it was a US recipe, and I was dealing in ounces. I needed to know how many ingredients I needed, so I used Siri and just said how many grams is 6 ounces, and it told me, so I knew exactly what to buy and what to have on hand. That was handy.
That's a great tip. Thanks so much. Because I think because we're using a lot of international recipes, some people get scared about that. My whole ounces in Fahrenheit thing. That's a great tip to do that. And you are going to show us the pita bread.
Yes, I'm also keto, and I've been doing keto all this year. And one of the things that I really miss is bread. So this was a really good one. So again, I had to go in and to the filters and select the US filter. And this one's a really simple, easy recipe. I've already preheated my oven to about 200 degrees, 400 Fahrenheit. It was a little bit over. I had to cut some parchment paper into squares because it comes out as a very sticky dough and you don't want it to stick, and I'm going to be pressing them. So first of all, I have to put in 6 ounces, which I know is about 170 grams of blanched almonds. Now I didn't actually blanch my almonds, and I've already had a
test run of this recipe, and I quite liked the sort of wholemeal effect that it gave with just the natural almonds.
Yeah, that's right.
So then it asked me to put the measuring cup on, and then it's going to make some noise. It's going to mill it.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can see we're saving a lot of money by milling our own almonds here instead of buying the shop bought one that someone else has processed for you. Also, a benefit is when you're using whole almonds, not only that they're cheaper to buy, but also they have a longer shelf life. If you buy almond flour, which is quite expensive, it goes rancid quite quickly. So only mill the amount of almonds that you really need for a certain recipe.
It asked me to transfer it, but I'm going to be a bit lazy, take my bowl aside and get on with the next bit with my spare bowl, which I love. So now it's asking me to put in 6 ounces of mozzarella cheese, and I always cut up my cheese so that it's no bigger than the dial. Something that I learnt from somebody else just to help look after our blades. Next, in and round to speed 7.
I like that, the size of the knob.
I just, again, I'll just show you that's the almond meal.
Mm-hmm.
I made a mistake when I made it the first time around. I didn't read the instructions properly and I just put it all together, and I don't know if it made much difference, but I thought I'll just swap out the second bowl. So now that I've got the cheese in, I'll add the almonds in. A spatula.
How handy is that second bowl?
Oh, I love it. It's fantastic. I don't know if it made much difference, but it could have because it was milling the cheese and the almond together. So it asks for 2 large eggs. Some half a teaspoon of kosher salt. I've got about a teaspoon there, so I'll just put half in. And a teaspoon of baking powder. Sorry. Ooh. So the baking powder will help it to rise a little bit. Measuring cup on. And it will mix it into a dough.
Good.
Another 8 seconds.
That's great. Yeah, so that bread is really something. Bread and potatoes, that's really something I'm missing in my low carb or keto diet. But that recipes like these, they absolutely help.
You can see it's quite a sticky dough. So I actually chose to take my blade out when I did this because it's not like when you do a pizza dough, it's very easy to tip out, but this one was quite sticky. So I chose to take the blade out because I just found it was a little bit easier. I'm going to oil my hands with a little bit of avocado oil. And get the dough out. As you can see, it's quite sticky.
Right, and you're going to make how many portions out of that?
It will make 5 portions, so I'll split that into 5 sort of balls, and then I'm going to just press it
in between some parchment paper and get it onto a baking tray. So I've just got it like a little cutter here to cut it into about 5 balls, roughly.
Yeah.
Sticky stuff. But there's no nasties in it for those of us that are doing keto.
No, that would
And
also
it really does taste like bread. It was quite tasty.
Yeah, I've actually made them into little crackers. So I got that cracker roll from the mix shop. So I've flattened it a little bit more and then used that cookie cutter or like a roller, and I turned them into little crisps, which also.
Now I just really need to wash my hands here for a second. So if you could just
That's all right.
give me 2 seconds to wash my hands.
Yes, please. I also had a thought when I saw you rolling these little balls there, how fun that would be to have the children in the kitchen and helping you, forming the dough. How exciting it is to get them involved in the kitchen and introduce them to cooking and baking like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's necessary that all children have a go in the kitchen. So I've actually got this little fancy tortilla press because I got that because I do make some variations of keto bread, and I just found it was sort of easy to just lightly press them, and especially if you want them really flat, which I don't want these really flat. You want them to be about 5 to 6 inches in diameter. And each one of these, so I won't press it down too hard, each one of these works out to be about 9 grams of carb.
Can you turn the angle from your phone a little bit down so we can see what you're actually doing? Perfect.
It's quite sticky. So what I'm going to do with that is put that onto the tray and then I'm not going to try and take it off to put it on the tray. Yeah. I'll put that onto the tray where the baking paper is ready to go.
Yeah, that's great. And you can bake it straight from there.
That's right.
Another tip, if you don't have a tortilla press, definitely use 2 sheets of baking paper to have your dough in between. But you can also just use a chopping board and press it down. And when you form a round ball first and press it down, it'll come out round straight away. Okay. All right, so you keep on with this, making a couple of them. Then they go, I think, are they going in the fry pan or in the oven?
I'm going to put them in the oven for about 13 to 15 minutes.
Okay, great.
But first of all, I'm going to I'm sprinkling them with some thyme.
Oh, yum.
And that gives them, it makes the place smell really gorgeous and gives them a really lovely flavour.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. So we're going back to Kim's kitchen, and let's see if there's anything to say with the mixture. Here we go. So what did you do, Kim?
So I then added a couple of eggs. We've got some onion powder and garlic powder. The recipe says some sliced up spring onions. Not a big fan of the spring onions, so I actually have done sun-dried tomatoes. Added those, just made them in little slices, and now we're going to just put them onto our mat. I do find, depending on what size you want them, your biscuits, these work quite well. They're ice cream scoop to form nice little balls.
They are popular.
They are popular. Because it's almond meal, like Tracy was saying, is quite sticky. So it does take a few utensils to actually get them onto the mat. So I will keep doing this.
Yep. Okay, thanks so much. And they go in the oven. They need, otherwise you can't show you the end result before the class is over. Right, now we're heading back to, it's actually Sandringham, but into Tiger's kitchen. And Tiger is going to show us the mushrooms. No, that's Tracy. We need Tiger. Here we go. Hi, Tiger. How are you holding up?
Oh, still awake. It's amazing. The recipes have been so good so far. So interesting. Yeah. I'm making another, I think I've got the easiest one.
Everyone said that so far.
Grilled mushrooms with avocado and parsley dressing. So yeah, so what I've just done is I've weighed out some oil, some lemon juice, I've added paprika and Dijon mustard, salt and pepper, and I've just blended that together. No, I've just mixed it into a bowl because the mushrooms, the portobello mushrooms, just go into there and marinate for as long as you want. Sometimes I've marinated them a bit too long ahead and they've turned into an interesting texture.
Okay, great tip then.
Don't jump the gun too early there like I have. But yeah, they just need to, it just needs to be mixed around and yeah, maybe wait a few minutes. The next step is I've got some parsley, some spring onions and garlic, and I've just plopped that in there, and that's just going to be blended to speed 7.
And this time that's actually a complete normal recipe from the Australian platform. There's not specifically low carb tag or keto tag, although it is keto. I think it's got next to no carbs in this recipe whatsoever. And you can find for every recipe the nutrition panel on cookidoo. So it's below the list of ingredients and next to section where it shows you the steps. You'll get all the information about the nutritional intake for a portion in detail on cookidoo.
So I've just blended up some the spring onions and they just smell awesome. They're just beautiful. It's amazing when you use a Thermomix and you're blending something that's slightly aromatic, but then you take the lid off and you think, oh man, that's beautiful. It's so enjoyable to cook with the Thermomix. So now I'm adding dried chili flakes, sea salt and ground pepper. And stuff that in there. Then this is a little bit tricky, this bit, so bear with. So what I've taken is the measuring
cup.
The measuring cup off, and I'm going to turn the speed selector to 4 and just drizzle the oil in.
Okay.
And just hope it, there we go.
Use the measuring cup as a shield.
Well, it has happened before that it's all sort of gone. So I'll just, there we go, up to 4.
All right, so this is emulsifying.
We're just emulsifying it, and then all you do is I've chopped up avocado here, and that is going to, this dressing is going into the avocado, and I'm cooking the mushrooms, the portobello mushrooms, in either the grill or barbecue, and it makes an amazing dish. Yeah, it's great. It's quite meaty in tasting. It's very filling. It's nutritious. Yeah.
All right. No, fantastic. So it really looks like I've given you a very easy recipe right there. No, fantastic. So yeah, so basically just combining this all together.
So yeah, and it's quite
The
a nice,
dressing.
yeah, it just looks beautiful. You can't see because the light, but yeah, it's beautiful. So I just plop that in with the avocados, and I'll show you how that looks. So it's just beautiful. It's really, yeah, it's very colourful. It's very aromatic. Yeah, it's just, and you've got bits of chili in it. You could use fresh chili, and it's, yeah.
For more heat, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like the freshness of all the ingredients in there. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Thanks so much, Tiger, for showing us this beautiful recipe. So great also, great also to make that on the barbecue, so it doesn't have to be in the grill. You can also put it in a fry pan. So very lots of variations available. I'm thinking if we could go back to Sandy's kitchen and just see if we got an update there on the steamed almond, or maybe I'm completely off with the
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, so our salmon is all cooked. So we have the salmon. Oh, it's very hard to show you. I don't want to tip it up too far. But you have the salmon all cooked, and the vegetables are all cooked as well.
Oh, wow.
So it looks amazing.
Plated it up already. Okay, so I was a bit late. I thought we could have a look at the meter and when it tells us to take it out, but that's obviously we've missed completely.
Unfortunately, yeah.
All right. So it was, again, it's such a quick and easy dish to make. Well, thanks for showing us this. We'll come back later when we do the final round. And now we're heading to Cheltenham into Monty's kitchen. Hi, Monty. Monty has also her debut today here with us on the Zoom stage. So thanks very much, Monty, for putting your hand up, and you will show us a beautiful dessert, and that's going to be the bliss balls.
Yep, that's correct. So yes, hello everyone. Welcome to my Thermomix museum / kitchen. I'm going to do the lemon coconut bliss balls. So I'm aware that a lot of people have talked about the almonds, so I'm going to be a little bit quick. Well, this recipe is very, very quick. But basically is plant almonds, and I will show you how I done it. So I always buy my almonds, whole almonds, with skin and everything. But I will show you in a minute how I do it, how to remove the skin of your almonds. So then sunflower seeds and lemon seeds. I use the beautiful Thermomix peeler because managed to peel it so nicely without any wiping.
Wow, they're like a meter long.
Yeah, I had a very nice lemons, homegrown lemons, and so yes, I love it.
Fantastic.
All right, so I'm going to knead it all for 5 seconds.
Yeah, so Monty said she has a Thermomix museum because we can spot a TM31 there in the back and a TM5 and a TM6, so you got it all.
Yes, I know.
Love it.
Okay, quickly, I'm going to show you how to blanch your almonds. This is how I fry my almonds. I put it with boiling water. Wait, I don't know, a few minutes. And very good exercise for kids, fine motor skill exercise, and peel it. I always ask my kids to do that for me.
Great, you can do that while watching TV also.
Yeah.
Keep your hands busy.
Yeah, that's correct. All right, so as for maple syrup, 2 tablespoons. I know that you can use all the sweeteners. This particular recipe says that, and I saw that it's only 3.1 of carbs lemon juice. So
Yeah. So you can replace, so maple syrup is not necessarily low carb, but yeah, keep going. I usually replace that with rice malt syrup, which is also not really low carb. But if you have just small amounts of that, that's absolutely fine.
And desiccated coconut.
Yep.
Okay,
We have a question if the coconut can be substituted. I would not in this recipe because that's the main ingredient. I would suggest we find a different bliss ball recipe then that doesn't use coconut.
I think. Okay, sorry, I missed this one. Coconut oil and the coconut. Well, basically everything goes in there and mill it. What I'm going to show you as well is that I never buy, milled desiccated coconut because you never know what they put in there. So I always buy my coconut like that and I mill it in my Thermomix just for a few seconds. Again, I can just mill whatever I'm going to need. The one that is already milled for you, they have a lot of preservatives. So yeah, I'd rather buy this type of coconut.
The flakes, yeah, that's right.
Flakes. Okay, so it's 3 seconds and that's it.
All right, looks like I've given you the easiest recipe, really. Yeah, so same like with the almonds, mill the coconut flakes, just the amount that you really need because the flakes, if they do go rancid if you have them too much, or if you buy them shop bought, they do contain preservatives. All right.
I'm just going to form a few balls. Again, we have these beautiful scoops. Maybe you can have bigger size for bigger people and a smaller size for smaller people. And basically it's just to get the scoop.
You can't do it without the scoops anymore, right?
I just have extra desiccated coconut here, just putting inside, flake it a little bit. And
oh yeah, they're so good. That's really easy. We got a question where to buy the flakes.
I buy them Aldi, the organic ones.
So do I, yes.
Yes.
Good
I wasn't sure if we were allowed to do any publicity about that, but yes, the one from Aldi, they are really handy.
Of course, we've got lots of shopping tips here as well. That's fine. All right. So whilst Monty is continuing and rolling a couple of more bliss balls there for us, I think we are down, or we have finished with all the recipes we wanted to show you. So now I want you to give me some feedback in the chat box, please, and let me know what have you loved most in this session today, seeing in that session today. Was there anything that wowed you? Anything that you say, oh yeah, no, I did not know that. That was really impressive to see. Let me know and just pop it in the chat. Great. And whilst you, thank you. Sorry, whilst we're collecting the feedback there, I want to go back to the different kitchens and we're going to present you the end results. Okay, starting off with Megan showing us the bolognese, the chunky, skinny mix is chunky, what? Bolognese on zoodles.
Yes, so here they are. Zoodles are ready for dinner. So it's a really tasty dish. I highly recommend giving it a go. I'll show you the bolognese also in the dish. So it's good, nice and chunky, not too fine, and the flavour is really good. So give that a go. If you have smaller kids, just but you want them to have a bit of the zoodles, just start cooking some pasta and adding some of the zoodles. So gradually increase as much zoodles as they will put up with.
That's a great tip there. Thank you, Megan. Then we're going back to Hyatt into Katja's kitchen, and let's have a look how the zucchini slice looks served.
Hello, look, I already plated it up here on my tray. Can you see? Wow, it's pretty heavy. Yeah, so I cut it already, and I think my husband just said he's hungry, so I think we just have a little apéro now, or you could have it as a side dish to a main meal, to salmon or to meat, whatever you prefer.
Great.
Yeah.
Very wonderful.
And it's a great vegetarian dish.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Fantastic. Thanks so much, Katja, for showing us. I think we had a look at the salmon already with the greens. Maybe we have a little bit more light in Sandy's kitchen this time, so we can see it a bit better. It was a bit dark.
It would be good next to Sandy's dish, actually, this, you know, on the side, you know.
I'll have to come over.
Yeah,
Okay.
not far away.
So, can we see that?
Way better, thank you. It looks
No
delicious.
worries. So that took the full 20 minutes, and as everyone's mentioned, you know, you can use the meter in the oven. It's spectacular to use with a roast or in your barbecue or in your charcoal grill. It doesn't matter whether it's automatic or wood fired. You can use it in lots of places.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
No worries.
I'm pretty sure the keto shortbread from Elizabeth should be ready now. So let's go back to Balgori. Have I said that correctly? Oh, now she's already dipping it in some sauce. All right, enough said. Oh, you actually muted. Hang on. Are you mute? Can we hear you?
Oh, yeah, there we go. Thank you. Well, here we go. These are my cookies. All right.
I'm going to
These
make
are the
some.
ones I made with just blitzing the whole almond. They're delicious.
Okay, isn't that the best part of our job, that we cook?
What I'm doing here is
Oh, stop talking with your mouth full.
Really buttery. The vanilla, just nice. Wow. You want to be at my place.
Yeah, no, that's actually the best part of this job right now. We're cooking for someone else, but we got to keep it all and eat it all ourselves. Thanks so much.
This will be fine because it's keto. But there was something that I didn't mention that I would have liked to have mentioned earlier. It is a very sticky, I'll say dough, or a sticky cookie mixture. And when I got most of it out of the bowl, I jumped out of the recipe, blitzed it, so in the centrifugal force, it spins and sends all the stuff to the outside of the bowl. Yeah. And you can jump back into the recipe, and then you clean your bowl. And then I did it again, with some a little bit of detergent, a little bit of water, covered the blades, and now my bowl's clean. All I have to do is lift your
stop
my coffee. It's almost happy hour. I think I'll be able to exchange that for a gin and tonic very shortly.
All right, thank you. So we got really good feedback there in the chat, and no men involved. Yeah, no, not today. We do have men in the group, but they're not here with us today, unfortunately. But we'll make sure they will be on the next time. All right. So I hope Kim's ready. Yeah. Well, we have room for more hubbies to come on board. Don't you worry. All right, Kim, what can we see there? They're not finished yet?
No, not quite, but I thought I'd just pop you in the oven. There you go.
Yes.
Almost done. And they'll be very delicious when they come out.
All right, fantastic. Also, great afternoon tea, a great TV snack, I guess, that, goes with, well, it's savoury. You can always have that on the side, but also maybe nice on a buffet, or when entertaining is allowed again. All right, thanks so much, Kim, for showing us this. How's the pita bread going with Tracy? I don't know if we had enough time.
Yeah, done.
Let's have a look. Wow, it really looks like bread.
It tastes like bread. It's beautiful.
Oh,
It's sort of, it's very herby with the thyme spice on top. And I did actually finish it off in a griddle pan on the stove with some pieces to get that nice charred effect. And it's just beautiful. I think I'm going to enjoy this. I haven't had bread in ages. So.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. And yeah, so and I think final look at Monty's kitchen and a couple more of the bliss bowls. And here we go. Yeah. Oh, beautiful. With that lemon. Look gorgeous.
The big size and the little size. I just found out they are like $2.50 per bowl, per bliss bowl, if you want to buy them.
Yeah.
When you buy them outside. So it's a big savings here. And you can keep them in the fridge for a week or in the freezer for a month.
Great.
I don't think they are gonna last that long.
Yeah, a great homeschool lunchbox addition, I guess, too.
Yeah, I will, for school, I would put more seeds. We put sunflower seeds. I will put also pumpkin seeds. I will put all the seeds, and you can make it with seeds, definitely.
Yeah. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Monty. That was basically the end of our presentation. I've seen a couple of questions of how to access the recipes. Thank you, Melissa. And so, yeah, Melissa shared the links. So all the recipes are available on cookidoo. If you are following our Bayside Thermomix community, then we have all the recipes and the pictures of them in cookidoo available for you there. If you like to join our group there, we are a community of consultants and customers, and we're sharing tips and tricks and where to buy ingredients and stuff like that. So you're more than welcome to join us on that Facebook group and get more information about that. All right, for those of you who don't have a Thermomix yet, so my question would now be, do you want one? And if that's the case, you know what to do. Get in touch with your consultant, or your consultant will also get in touch with you. They're also happy to provide you with the links to the recipe. And for those of you who have now enjoyed the show and you thought, oh yeah, that's great what these girls are doing. So you got to know me, you got to know the team. And if you want to be part of this, you're more than welcome to stay on now. We have Libby with us. Libby is our branch manager or business development manager. And for the what is the branch called? I always forget. I say Inner Southeast branch, something like that. And she'll be delighted to tell you a little bit more about what's involved, so you can reduce the price for your Thermomix. If you, that's it from my end today. If you don't want to stay on, that's fine too. And I wish you a beautiful rest of your Sunday. And thanks so much for spending your time today with us. It was a pleasure to have you all here, and hope to see you again next time.